Set it on, fast in the melon. If I ever lose, set it on, bigger and better. Hidden roller coaster come bigger, bolder, faster. I'm going to the maximum. I'm going to the maximum. I'm going to the maximum.
I'm very happy to be here in the Philippines. It is my first time, and it is amazing. The people are amazing. The food is amazing. The hospitality is amazing. Very excited to be here. So this was a talk. Originally, I was going to be talking about community. I built an NFT community, and I was going to talk about that. But then it became apparent that I was going to be on 3 panels talking about community. So at the last minute, we decided to change it up to profile and profit, or passion and profit. And so today I'm going to give a bit of a background on me, who I am, how I got here, my history in Web3, before Web3, and then profit. And I've always found it a little difficult to talk about profit because I don't like to focus everything on profit, on making money, on the financial side of things. But I think there are some useful things that I've learned in my 18 months in the space, but in my time even before that, that hopefully others can take and use to maybe come up with better plans or strategies to profit. But I also want to talk about not just financial profit, but mental health and how you can maybe profit your well-being. But let's start with my background. So I was a professional poker player for about 16, 17 years before anything Web3 related. So from high school, 2004, 2005, started playing online poker, and that was kind of all I did before crypto. I first heard about crypto in 2011. I did not buy crypto in 2011, unfortunately, but there was actually, the US government made playing poker online illegal in 2011. And so a lot of people who are poker players, they did one of a few things. Either they stopped playing poker, or they went to casinos, or in real life to play. Some people left to Canada, Mexico, other parts of the world, and started playing online poker. But there was a small group of people in the poker community who heard about this thing called Bitcoin. And they decided, let's use this digital currency, this cryptocurrency, and see if we can play online poker with it. And so I think in what must have been one of the very first legitimate use cases of crypto, they formed this community of poker players playing online poker with Bitcoin all the way back in 2011. Again, unfortunately, I was not part of that, but a lot of my friends were, and so I always had this, arm's length relationship and knowledge of what was happening in the crypto space. But it wasn't until 2017 that I first started dabbling. Ethereum started, popping off. It was the thing, and I heard about it, and I was like, all right, let me throw some money in, dabble, see where this goes. And it was fun. Price went up. I started dabbling in other coins, things are going up, and then 2018 comes along, everything goes down. And at that point, I was like, all right, fun experiment. That's enough for me. I don't really get it. I didn't understand the technology. I didn't understand smart contracts or anything like that. So I left the space, went back to poker, and it wasn't until early 2021 that I really got properly into Web3. And again, it was because prices started going up, and I had some friends that were saying, hey, you should check out crypto again, see what's going on, check out DeFi, check out these NFT things. And they were saying at first, you can buy these JPEGs for thousands of dollars and then sell them for tens of thousands of dollars. And I thought, my friends are getting scammed. They're in some Ponzi scheme. I was genuinely concerned for them, and I was like, this is crazy. I don't get it. Not for me. But it took a few weeks, and then eventually I did some research, and I started digging into everything that was going on in the Web3 and crypto space. And I realized that an entire economy had been created and was continuing to be built upon, where crypto was actually having, for the first time, really in a very long time, more and more real-world use cases where people were using the technology, creators were using it, artists were using it to make a living for themselves and to find ways to take ownership back and control back away from centralized entities and big Web2 tech giants. And I was like, this is exciting. This is very cool and interesting. And so I remember it was March, April 2021, I made a conscious decision, and I said, I want to pivot and dedicate all my time and energy into learning about this crypto, NFT, Web3 world. And so that's kind of what I've been doing ever since then. Probably for 6 months of last year, I was trading a lot, day in, day out. I'd wake up, I would, look at what was minting, coins, crypto, NFTs, buying, selling, trading, making money. Although it was a bull run, it was, hard not to make money. And then somewhere along the way, I decided to start creating content. I started a newsletter, a podcast, and started focusing more on creating educational content to help onboard people into crypto and NFTs and Web3. In November 2021, I launched Zen Academy, which is my project, my community, which is really focused on creating educational materials to help people get into Web3. And that's basically what I've been working on for the last year, the last 12 months. And it's been a wild ride. I mean, crypto is a wild ride. And I don't want to spend the whole talk talking about my history or my project, and I want to move on to the profit section now. Maybe share some of the things I've learned, making money, losing money, trading, as a builder, as a founder, mental health wise. And when it comes down to it, I think something that most people don't have when they trade and try to make money in crypto is a strategy. And it seems so simple, but I always say that if you're going to buy something, whether it's a coin, and this actually doesn't even apply to crypto or Web3, it could be anything you're buying as an investment. It could be a stock, it could be real estate investments, it could be gold, silver. But let's talk about Web3. If it's ETH, Bitcoin, and NFT, you should have an exit strategy. You should have a strategy in mind before you buy, because what most people do is they FOMO into something. They see their friends buy a thing, they see it on the news, they see it on Twitter, on social media, on YouTube, and they're like, oh, this is shiny, I think I can make money on it, I'm gonna just buy it, without really coming up with a plan and a strategy. And then what happens is, inevitably, that whatever thing that they buy, it'll either go up in price or down in price, and they'll end up in a situation where now, they're either up a bunch of money, down a bunch of money, and having to decide, do I sell now? Do I buy more? What do I do here? And it's at this point, if you're trying to make a decision, you're already in an emotional state. You've got an investment that's up or down money, and we're all humans, and if we're up a bunch of money, we think, oh, this is great, and greed maybe takes a hold of us, and we think, what if it goes up some more? And so we're not thinking straight. Similarly, if something goes down, we start getting fearful and panicked, and we think, oh my God, this is going to zero, I need to exit, I need to sell everything, what is happening? You can kind of avoid all of this if before you buy something, you say, I have a strategy. If it goes up 2x, I'm going to sell. If it goes down 50%, I'm going to cut losses and exit. And everyone's strategy is going to be different. It depends if you're, a 19-year-old with no dependents, and maybe you have a job and some high risk tolerance and discretionary money. You can, buy something and be like, all right, I'm either going to hold it to 0 or wait till it gets 10x, 100x, and that's my strategy. And that's fine as long as you have that strategy. Similarly, you could be someone, you've got a family, you have kids, you can't be affording to take risks, and your strategy might be, if I buy and it goes up 2x, I'm going to sell no matter what. And again, it's really, really important to make this strategy before you buy anything, because if you try and do it after, what will happen is you buy something, it goes up 2x, and then all of a sudden, greed gets a hold of you, and you think, ooh, what if it goes up another 2x? And then you start thinking, the thing about humans is, it's never enough. You ask someone how much money that they need or want to make till they're happy, and whatever they tell you when they get to that point, they'll tell you a new number. If people say, I only need $50,000 and all my problems will go away, I'll be happy, they get to $50,000 and you ask them, they'll be like, you know what, I need 100,000. The 100,000, they say, you know what, I need $500,000, I need $1 million. The number keeps going up and up and up. And so if you try and make financial decisions in the heat of the moment, you will inevitably make emotionally charged, emotionally based decisions that will usually not help you. So coming up with a strategy before you make a purchase is probably one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give to anyone in any investment advice, but it's, again, especially important when it comes to NFTs, Web3, crypto. Wow, 5 minutes left. Time flies. let me go on to mental health and profiting in the mental side of things, because I think this is equally as important, and I want to make sure I spend some time on it. So my background, poker player. I've 16 years as a poker player. I've made lots of money and been bankrupt and in debt and poor and broke several times in my life. And so I went through a lot of swings, and it was tough and hard and, mentally anguishing and grueling. And I've noticed a lot of those same things happen in the crypto space. And a lot of it's because of the speculative nature of the assets that we're dealing with. Money, the tokens and NFTs, whatever it is, they go up, down, they go to zero all the time. We're in a really bad bear market now. Prices are down 80%, 90%, and it can be really tough on your mental health, your psyche. You can start, feeling sad, depressed, anxious. You can, get into a really bad way. And again, how do you prevent this happening, or how do you help yourself either in the situation, or rather avoid getting in the situation? And again, I think it comes down to having a strategy for your mental health. And so for me, that is making sure to take breaks. And taking breaks can be really tough in this space, because it's 24/7. The stock market closes at the end of the day. Weekends, it's off. In crypto, it's all day, every day. Prices are going up and down. People, they're checking CoinMarketCap, they're checking OpenSea, they're just checking the prices nonstop. And you can really easily fall into this spiral, this really dark place where you're just glued to your screen and you're consumed by the space. And it can be hard to take breaks, because you feel like if you miss an hour, if you miss 10 minutes, if you miss a day, you might miss the next big thing. You might miss the next 100x. You might miss the next big coin. But the reality is there's stuff happening all the time. There's opportunities coming every single day from every single direction. And you're doing yourself a massive disservice by not taking care of your mental health, taking breaks. So for me, my strategy is I take weekends off. And obviously that is not a new thing. Most jobs, people take weekends off. But I think in Web3, it is kind of new and unique, because most people tend to work 24/7. And so for my company, for me personally, I do what I have to do, because I know myself, and I know that if I work 7 days a week, it's just going to burn me out. It's going to be crazy and chaotic. And so I set these boundaries, and I think that everyone needs to come up with their own boundaries, their own limits, their own rules. It could be taking weekends off. It could be taking Wednesdays off. It could be taking afternoons off. It could be whatever it is that works for you. And again, coming up with that strategy ahead of time is really the key to me. And so, yeah, I guess the thesis, the highlight, the one thing I want you to take away from this talk is come up with a strategy, whether it's before you buy something, know when you're going to sell it, or before you enter a space as crazy as Web3, and before next year, maybe a New Year's resolution, come up with a strategy to manage your mental health. All right. Thank you, everyone. That was me. Take care.
Philippine Blockchain Week. See you next year.